Hey, my true tellers, how are you guys doing? Welcome to Unapologetic Real Talk. I hope you guys can hear me real good because for some reason I was having so much problems trying to come on. So let me go ahead and do a mic check to see if everything is together. So make sure you go ahead and hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content. I will be right back. Okay, guys. Okay, I had to go ahead and do a mic check. So, those that coming in and watching the replay, make sure you go ahead and hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content. And also, I'm thinking about going ahead and move. When I start talking about politics and religion, I also have a setup, another channel. I think I have at least about close to 2,000 subscribers. And if you are interested, I'm not going to go ahead and shout out the channel because on here I have a bunch of haters, so I'm not going to shout out the channel. But if you are interested in going over to my other channel, guys, just go ahead and email me. So again, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy blessed Saturday. As you can see right here, we're going to go ahead and talk about the breakdown. I don't know if you guys had saw it, the breakdown when it came to Sanetv. He had three guys. Zoka and Efra was on, and I want to go ahead and break it down. And also, he went ahead and moved it over to, I don't know if it's his girlfriend, his wife, or I think she goes by the name of Nepal. Okay, moved it over to as her as the co-host. So let me go ahead and get my little coffee together and make sure that we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. As you can see right here, I don't know if I'm having problems or anything, guys, because for some reason I don't know if I'm gonna be able to camera up long. I'm gonna try to camera up long because I hate when people talk mad smack behind the computer. I hate that. And I think that YouTube is gonna go ahead and clean out those trolls, because most people that talk mad smack behind the computer, most of them are trolls. Okay, trust me, they can't even show themselves, because if they could show themselves, they won't be hiding behind the computer. And I promise you, they won't have that much energy. So let me make sure that I don't freeze, because I don't see anyone in, so making sure that I don't freeze, because like I say, ain't nothing gonna stop here, guys. And that's real talk. So as you can see right here, we're gonna go and do the breakdown of the interview that Sanetv had. And I really like Sanetv. Like I said, I don't have any bad things to say about Sanetv, because many times when I will go to his channel, he always give me a shout out. Okay, but I don't know about today, but I really don't have anything to say bad about Sanetv, but when it comes to Nepal, that's a whole story by itself. And that's a handful. Okay, so again, guys, when you just coming on, make sure you hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna comb through the interview. I don't know if I'm gonna go ahead and get to the entire interview. Most likely I'm gonna go ahead and do the part where uh Napor, she went ahead and she had other former carbonations on her platform. Okay, so let me go ahead and read the copyright disclaimer. I want to make sure that I go ahead and get that out. So let me make sure that I get that out. And I used to cover this. I mean, I had so many videos when it came to all this right here, but I went ahead and I deleted a lot because, it was just so much. So let me see if I can go ahead and read the copyright disclaimer. The copyright disclaimer is under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. So again, guys, make sure you go ahead and hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content. I'm going to see if it's going to allow me to play some snippets, which I went ahead and faded out. So if you want to go ahead and listen to the entire video, guys, make sure you go on Sanetv TV. I think it's that's what it was, Sanetv TV, or I know I saw something conscious, but I promise you, you're going to go ahead and you're going to find it. Okay, so let me also, I had supposed to come on at I think it was about this time. I was going to talk about Bishop Nathan. I don't have the picture of him. He's a Hebrew Israelite. I want to go ahead and talk about that as well. I think I might go ahead and talk about it tomorrow, where he went to a certain part of Africa. He went to Kenya. I can't think what the name of Nairobi. I think that's where he went. It's most likely in the rural part of Kenya, the places where I be talking about the most, where they went ahead and they stoned his his group, his camp. And I want to talk about that. Most likely I might go ahead and talk about that tomorrow. But the sad thing about it, guys, is that we got to change that colonized mindset. So I'm just trying to set things up because I want to make sure that I don't look a fool on here. I might not be able to camera up too long, but I want to make sure that I'm not freezing, because you know how we got a lot of haters on here, and you can be freezing, honey, and they're not even going to tell you that you are freezing. So let me see if I can pull the thumbnail, and also I'm gonna play some clips. Okay, now come on, you wasn't even barking. Now all of a sudden he want to bark. Okay, all right, all right. All right, now I'm live, okay? So I want to go ahead and talk about the breakdown of the interview. Like I said, I want to go ahead and I want to focus more when it comes to Solar. Okay, I want to focus more on Solar because what he had said, and I think the guy, he goes by the name Seven Something, which I'm gonna play that. He went ahead and he addressed Solar when it talked about the part that he played on. And we already know when it comes to Nature Boy, they already went ahead and they threw the book at him. He got life plus 10 years. So to set up your panel and continue talking about Nature Boy, Chief Eligio Bishop, uh, to me, it's irrelevant because you guys got what you wanted when it came to Eligio Bishop. But the thing about it is what I want to talk about when it comes to Solar. And when this brother was trying to, question Solar, which, his points was valid. Uh, Napor, I make sure I write that name down. Napor, she went ahead and she cut him off a lot. Okay, so I want to make sure that I go ahead and talk about all that because uh, even though when it comes to some more a Solar, he calls himself a victim. Okay, so I want to know, how can you call yourself a victim then turn to be a recruiter? Okay, because like I said, uh, when it comes to all this right here, these was not children, they were grown-ups. Now, one of them was young at the time, but she was young when she went to Carbonation, and that was Zoka. And he, when it comes to Solar, and those are the questions that nobody is asking, because why was Solar communicating with Zoka when Zoka was nothing but 16 or 17 years old? See, y'all not asking those type of questions. Y'all not asking those type of questions. And like I said, when it comes to all this right here, I don't have a dog in this fight. I stand on my truth. I stand on my truth. I'm not the type of person that, may go on these people pages when it was on Bigo Live and stalk and harass and slum on these people pages. No, I got a life. But the, all the information is already out there. And the thing about it is that when it comes to social media, let me make sure that I can hear myself, because you know how it is when you start standing on truth. People, they got their clicks and they got their people that they go ahead and support. And when you start talking your truth, they're not going to go ahead and try to support you. But the Most High God has said, tell it to them anyhow, because we already know when it comes to these people are stiff necked. They got their pickers and they choosers. And when it comes to this social media, we already know they got their little troll phone. When they tell you don't watch, don't watch. But the Most High God say, I don't care if I got one or two, or I'm here by myself, because I know that I would never be alone. My word is very powerful, okay? Whether it's one or two. So, they don't sit there and control nothing when it comes over here, okay? But to get back, no one asked the questions. Well, at least when someone was trying to ask the question, that's when the poor went ahead and she shut it down, which I'm going to go ahead and talk about it, because when it comes to Solar was of age. Why was Solar even, talk about recruiting, especially when it comes to Zoka and Efru? Both was in college. Both was in college. And the thing about it is that you guys wants to put that tag on Solar, as Solar is the victim. But if Solar is a victim and if Solar go out there and recruit your daughters out of college, I want to know what you call him a victim as well. I don't think you would call it. I think the story would change, okay? Because let me see if I can go ahead and now break it down because I truly believe, just like the brother said, when it comes to Solar, Solar should as well take some type of accountability. I think that Solar should be arrested as well because, as he said, he was playing his role. He was playing his role, even if Chief Eligio Bishop would have told him to go out there and do what he did, he still should take accountability for it. We could sit there till we blue in the face, blame Nature Boy. That's exactly who y'all wanted. Y'all wanted the big fish, you got the big fish. But what about also the ones that had played in it as well? Because, like I said, Nature Boy didn't tear it down by himself. Now I know that's who you want, and now all of a sudden you guys want to go ahead and you want to turn your head or you want to stick your head in the sand, and ignore the part that Solar played. Okay. So, like I said, Solar should take accountability. And I went ahead, I'm not an attorney, but like I said, I'm in my lane. I am in my lane when it comes to some of this stuff right here, especially when it comes to my spirituality. Okay. But I want to go ahead and let's go ahead and find. Let's go ahead and find the information when it comes to a victim turning into a recruiter, and if that person is accountable as well. Because, like I said, the only victims, the only really victims, if you want to call victims, is Zoka and it's Ephru and it's Malia. The rest of them, like I say, and you guys might go ahead and get mad. You can get mad all you want. Like I said, I stand on my truth. When it came to who they call Nateria, I have tons of videos, tons of videos. I made tons of videos still in my iCloud and it's still out there into the atmosphere because it's not going anywhere because these people had recorded their entire life. Now, when Nateria came, Nateria know exactly what she was doing. She know where she was. She know she was out there. She even sat on the couch. It was Malia and it was Ephru when they was doing an interview. I think Nature Boy was doing an interview when she came out and said that she came from out of the streets, what she was doing. Okay, so nobody cannot cover that. Okay, and when it comes to Velvet, Velvet was young, but she knew what she was doing. First of all, these people, they came out where Nature Boy was, okay? They came out where he was. When Velvet came to Carbonation, I think it wasn't Carbonation, it was Melanation, where Velvet already had came with another guy. And like I said, there is say, honey, you can't get mad with the messenger. And when it comes to some of these YouTubers, these people are trolls. These people are not about finding the truth, because if they were about the truth, and they were about when it comes to sex trafficking, human trafficking, and whatever you want to go ahead and call it, they would not just stick to one person. Now, like I said, you got the guy where you guys wanted him. You wanted him behind jail. The guy is behind bars, okay? So it doesn't stop there because there's so many other children. Just, I think it was like 2 weeks ago where I saw, I think it was on social media, where a U-Haul, the police went ahead and stopped the U-Haul with a bunch of women, a bunch of girls was packed in a U-Haul. Why you guys don't talk about that? Why you guys still fixated when it comes to Nature Boy? Tell me why. Because you guys are a bunch of trolls. You guys are not about finding the truth. Because if you was out about finding the truth and your heart goes out to children, human trafficking and all this other stuff, then you won't just stop there. You will have tons of videos of all those predators that's out there. But for some reason, it got to be something personal, okay? So let's go ahead. Like I said, I speak truth. I stand on my truth. And I remember last night when it came to Sanetta had said that in order for you to get people attention, you have to use wisdom. Some people, they want to think that, oh, I'm friends with these people, I know these people life. You only know what they put out there, so you cannot approach anyone any kind of way. You have to use wisdom in all you're getting. Get wisdom and understanding, okay? And that's what we don't have wisdom and understanding. When I wanted to know anything when it came to carbonation, I went directly to the source. Didn't know these people from a can of paint. But like I said, they either gonna sit there and say no, or they can sit there and say yes. But when I asked them questions, they didn't sit there and chewed me out. I showed them, I met them with kindness, okay? And they were able to sit there and meet me with kindness. But if you going and you straight and attacking these people, no, you ain't gonna get nothing out. I wouldn't give nothing out, give you anything. But let me go ahead and pull this up right here. So guys, if you're just coming in, make sure you go ahead and hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content. And if you feel that this is not the channel for you, honey, you go to the channel that's going to go ahead and accommodate you, okay? But I went ahead and I pulled up, and I'm not an attorney, okay? But like I said there and say, when it comes to a lot of this stuff right here, we got a lot of YouTube attorneys. These people thinking that they are therapists. You ain't nothing but YouTube therapists. Because if they were the right type of people, they would tell these ones that's came out as they say a cult. Look, we can't help you. We don't have the skills to help you. We're going to direct you to the right people where you can get the necessary help that you can get. But the thing about it is that all this right here is about clicks and likes. These people is not about finding the truth. It's like I said, these people, this right here, some lonely, miserable people ain't got no life because half of them cannot come behind the computers, can't even show themselves, but they got so much to say. So let me go ahead and put this out right here, where I had asked the question: if someone was a victim and recruiting others, are they accountable as well? So let me go ahead and read it again. If someone was a victim, just like when it came to Soular, they were sitting there saying, oh, he's a victim, we're gonna protect him, you're not gonna tell him anything, and that's what they're gonna be able to sit there and use as a cover up. Oh, I was a victim because I was a part of this. So let's go ahead and just like I said, I am not an attorney. You can go out there, you can check out this information. Like I said, we are in the age of information. Everything is out there at a push of a button, okay? So the question is, if someone was a victim and recruit others, are they accountable as well? And the answer is yes. Someone who was initially a victim, but then actively recruit others into the same harmful situation, can still be held accountable for their action. So let me go ahead and read it again. If someone was a victim and recruited others in, or they are accountable as well? The answer is yes. Someone who was initially a victim, but then actively recruit others into the same harmful situation, can still be held accountable for their action. Accountability depends on factors. Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So let's go ahead and get it back to, yes, the person that is a victim go out there and recruit other people. They also uh, need to be held accountable for their action. Accountability depends on a factor like their level of coerce. I can't say that. Coerce. Okay, so it's like they coercing that person. Okay, so accountability depends on factors like their level of coerce, intent, and awareness of the harm caused. Legal system often consider this nuance. Victims can become predators or perpetrators if they willingly participate in all facilitate a crime. For example, in case like human trafficking, courts may weigh both their victimization and their role in harming others. Okay. So the content matter, but prior to victimization doesn't fully excuse later harmful act. So right there, just say like when it's dealing with human trafficking, and the court's gonna go ahead and weigh it out because the victim now, they need to go ahead and take accountability. So that's how I went ahead and I received that right there. So when the brother was talking about, when it comes to Solar, which we're going to go ahead and play a little clip of that, which I went ahead and fuzz it out. Like I said, y'all can go ahead and go to Sanetta's channel and y'all can watch it in its entirety. But when the brother went ahead and asked Solar, do he take accountability of some of the stuff? He said no. He came out and said no. And you can see, hold on one second. You can see the expression on Nipor's face when he said no. Okay. You can see the expression on her face when he said no, he does not take accountability. Okay. So we already know. They said that, even Nipor said that when it came to Zoka was young, even though she was 18 when she came to Carbonation. But when it came to Solar was already communicating with her. But see, nobody wants to talk about that. Okay. Like I said there and say, when you dig one ditch, you better make sure that you dig another one for yourself. Okay. Because like I said, just because you all want to go ahead and say, oh, I want Nature Boy, I want Chief Elijah Bishop, I want him. But like I said, when it came to Solar told you guys exactly how he came about that. Okay, how he came a part of it. Nature Boy did not go out there looking for him. They came out and they looked for him. According to Solar, what did Solar say? Solar said that if he was not going to be in Carbonation, he wanted to be a monk. He wanted to go somewhere else. So what that's trying to tell you, that if it wasn't for Carbonation, he would have been somewhere else. So now all of a sudden you was a victim, but you already had made up your mind, of how you wanted to, you wanted to live your life. You wanted to live your life a part of the cult. But the thing about it is that no one asked the question when it came to Solar. Solar, do you did you denounce, when it comes to this type of a setting, as y'all call it, a cult, do you denounce that? Do you have a 9-to-5 job? Do you working? Do you file a income tax form? Nobody asks that type of question. The thing about it is that you guys still attaching Solar as a victim, but yet he's going out there and creating, making babies. And the sad thing about it, the same women that accuse Chief Elijah Bishop, the same ones that accuse Elijah Bishop, the ones that he was with, Solar went ahead and impregnated them. Make it make sense. Natalia accused him of raping her, but yet Solar went and impregnate her. Velvet impregnate her. Okay, make it make sense. Like I said, when it comes to setting on people platform half of them should be sitting on somebody's couch because all they doing is they not bettering themselves. We got Velvet coming out here all pumped up as if she better. I'm beautiful, people jealous, but yet you got three babies, girl, for three different daddies and still young. And not now with another man could be a fourth baby. But yet you guys praising these people, and these people are not getting the help that they need. Make it make sense. If I'm wrong, just stop me. Tell me, hey D, you're wrong. But I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. Because no way in the world that you guys can have these people on your platform and not have these people to take accountability. Because if Soular was the one that recruited, and you can see on this video I'm about to show you, let me go ahead and see if I can pull it up, where you can see even Natira raised her hand as if Soular went ahead and recruited her as well. And I'm going to say allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly. But we already know he said that he recruited Zoka, and he also recruited Efru, and both of them was in college. So why would you recruit them if you sat there and said that when it comes to Eligio Bishop, that he was very abusive when it comes to women? So why would you put two young women that was in college into harm's way? That's why I say when it comes to Soular, hold on one second, guys. That's why when it comes to Soular also should take accountability. So let me go ahead and pull this up so I won't be talking so much.
Masculine, because
hold on one
as
second.
A man, there's some questions.
So we're going to go ahead.
In my divine matter.
We're going to start with this right here. And you can go on Sanetv TV channel and you can find the video into its entirety. So let me go ahead. And guys, excuse me with my voice, okay? I need to go get a cough drop. So hold on. Let me go ahead and read the copyright disclaimer again, okay? Because like I said, we seeking truth. We are truth seekers. We're not here to because we hate a person. Like I said, hey, I'm not hating no one, but I know one thing. And then it even asks when it comes to Eligio Bishop, do you think that this man deserved life plus 10 years? One of them, she couldn't even really answer because she been a troll from day one. Even Eligio Bishop showed a video where she was at his house, the one that sounds all professional, all articulate. I think I am not even gonna call her name, but you also was at that house. But see, they're not gonna talk about stuff like that. These people are trolls. Like I said, when it comes to all this right here, it got so much stuff that we can go ahead and talk about. But we want to be so fixated when it comes to Nature Boy. It doesn't stop there. Like I say, according to all the stuff that's out there, it makes Nature Boy look like a little small fish. But we're not going to go and do our research. We're not going to sit on these people pages. But when it comes to Nature Boy, we all up in it because, like I said, this is something personal. That's what a correction center is for these people to rehabilitate. But they say no, he deserves life. This man never unalived anyone, but he deserves life. Make it make sense. So like I said, if you're going down and you throw the book at us, all the rest of them, that was participating in all that. Okay. I even have a video. I made several videos, several clips when it came to Velvet. Velvet was when they had that party, that little soul train dance. She had a paper all the while. They was out there recruiting these people. Okay. They were recruiting them going, like I said, all of them played a part in it. If you want to sit there and you want to just throw the book at one person, okay? But let me see if I can go ahead and read the copyright disclaimer again, guys. And like I said, hey, don't get mad with the messenger. If you can't stand the heat, you get out the kitchen. But I'm not the type of person, like I said, you're not going to throw a rock and hide your hands. You're not going to sit there and, oh, I'm going to allow this joker to continue hollering a victim, but yet you recruited these young girls, okay? Now, like I said, if they wants to go ahead and open a case on Soular. Because, hey, why was he communicating with a minor at 16 years old? Okay. Why, Soular? Answer that question. So let's go ahead and read the copyright disclaimer. Again, it's under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship. So, like I said, we are researching, okay? So make sure you go ahead and hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content. And also, if you want to go ahead and watch the video in its entirety, you can go to Sanetv, okay? So let me go ahead and play this right quick.
Because as a man, there's some questions for you and for the men in this organization that hasn't been asked. Brother, I heard you say that you brought some women into the cult. Is that correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
So
let's stop it right here. Now, this brother, he asked Soular a question. He said that he heard that he brought some women into the cult, okay? And what did Soular say? Soular said yes. Now, I just read, and I'm not an attorney, okay, but I want to go ahead and I wanted to read it again. Now, Soular is saying that he's a victim, even if Elijah Bishop told him to go out there and recruit other women. Like I said, he's a grown man. He's a grown man. Now, you might sit there and say, oh, he was brainwashed at the time. I promise you, if it was your daughter, you won't be sitting there saying he was brainwashed. I promise you. So if your ears is bleeding in here, then let your ears bleed. Because like I said, I stand on my truth, even if I got to stand by myself. Okay, so let's go ahead and read this again. Because like I say, the information is out there. So the question I had asked, if someone was a victim and recruited others, are they accountable as well? The answer is yes. Someone who was initially a victim, but then actively recruit others into the same harmful situation can still be held accountable for their action. Okay? So why Soular can sit on a panel so freely as a victim and go out there and procreate with the same women that was in the cult, as they say. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. But you see, we don't want to talk about stuff like this because we wanted the big fish. But now you could talk about it because you got the big fish now. You got him down. You got him where you wanted to get him. So if you want to keep reliving this, then go after Soular and every last one of them that was a part of this, okay? Because like I said, the only victims that I see was the two that was in college and Malia. Okay? And according to Soular was the one that went ahead and recruited them. Like I said, if you can't stand the truth, then you get out the kitchen. And that's real talk, okay? So let's go and listen to some more.
Even though you men were indoctrinated into his thinking, do you feel complicit? Or do you think the men should feel complicit in the abuse that these sisters went through by the hand of the man you brought them to? How do you feel about that? Is there any repentance? Is there any accountability for that once you got up out of that?
That's a fair
That's a
question
fair
because I
question.
went
And I
through a
went,
phase where I already knew what I knew. I have a gift to seeing universal patterns for what they are already.
So instead of he going and answer the question, he's talking about the gifts that he had. He's still talking about the gift that he had. Now, a person that went ahead and got the right counseling, the right therapists that they needed, wouldn't answer the question like that because now you out of, as you say, the cult. You now in your right mind. So why he sitting there talking about he had a gift? Let's go ahead and listen to it again. And I went ahead and I fuzzed the picture because, like I say, because of the copyrights. But if you want to watch it clearly and into its entirety, you can go to Sanetv, okay? So let's go ahead and play this again. His answer after the brother asked the question. Let's go ahead and listen to the answer. His answer.
That's a fair
that's a
question
fair
because I
question.
went
And
through
I
a
went,
phase where I already knew what I knew. I have a gift to seeing universal patterns for what they are already. And if you go to my page, you'll see to this day, I only offer endless teaching of divine knowledge, truth, for all souls, for everybody. And it's not Nature Boy's programming, or excuse me, Legio's programming, or his, none of that. See, he doesn't own the truth. And he used the truth to get people into situations and positions that fed whatever traumas he needed fed. So I don't feel any remorse for that because that's almost like me regretting, like, why did I go? Why did I put everything to the side? Why did I
So
put my
right
family
there,
to the side? Put
it
everything
so right there, it can't get no clearer than that. He's in his mind when he went out there and he recruited these women. He recruited them thinking as of a purpose. So it's his doing because he was the one that did the recruiting. He was the one that's recruiting. But the question is, if you know that they was going to end up with Nature Boy, why you kept getting them? Why you kept bringing them in? But you see, nobody want to answer the questions like this. I think I need to go ahead and sit on the highest mountain and shout this to the highest mountain. But I don't really need to shout it because you see, stuff like this don't run. But that's all right. My job is to do what? To tell it to them anyhow, and that's real talk.
aside. Those were choices that I made because of what I believed in. And if it wasn't for Eligio, I was going to go be a monk in the Himalayan mountains. All facts. I just didn't want to cut my hair. So the reality is,
So right there, he said that if he was not a part of carbonation, he would have never entered to carbonation. He would have went and been a monk, but he didn't a monk, whatever. He didn't want to cut his hair. So what that's trying to tell you right there, he already was had his mind made up that he wanted to be in a part of some type of cult. He already knew that. But the sad thing about it is that he went out there and he went and recruited others to come in. But yet, you guys not holding him accountable for the stuff that he's doing. Make it make sense.
searching for a spiritual family before I even came across him. I was already looking to do that and be a martyr if I had if that's what it came down to for the truth. So for those women who came for their own reasons, I thought that they came because I may have convinced them to through the knowledge.
So what did he say? He said he convinced them to come. Young kids in college, he convinced them. Soular convinced them. Soular brought them to the sheep to be slaughtered. So why Soular does not take accountability? Why Soular is not taking accountability? Because it was his journey as well. He already said if it wasn't for carbonation, do I have to keep repeating myself? He would end up somewhere else. He would end up somewhere else.
And through doing the right thing. But the reality is they came because of some of their own traumas that they held already before me. That's not my responsibility. And, God is working in ways in which I can't see it sometimes. And, all of this happened for reasons that still been, have not been revealed to me yet. But I don't take responsibility for their journeys. but I do know why I did what I did, and I did everything out of a golden heart and for a righteous reason. What he did, what he did with what he had is on him. What they
But you see, like I said, you could move Eliseo Bishop out the equator because you got what you wanted. But also, the reason why I am here, the reason why I am doing this reaction video, because you also have to take accountability. You also have to take accountability. And the sad thing about it, you still running out there wild. Who would sit there and say that you won't start another cult? Who would say that you didn't want it to be the chief? Because we already know when it comes to people how they envy other people. Who would say that he's not trying to start a cult? Because why would he go and impregnate the same ones that accuse Nature Boy of doing things to them? Of all the women in the world, he chose those two because that's just to show you he is also a part of the problem. He is also a part of the problem. Ain't no way you can go ahead and you can justify that. And I just read it. Yes, someone who was initially a victim, but then actively recruited others into the same harmful situation can still be held accountable for their action. They can still be held accountable. Victims can become predators or perpetrators if they willingly participate in or facilitate the crime. So, did he facilitate the crime? Did he willfully? Yes. 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 And I promise you, if it was your family members, you would be able to see it. But the only reason why you didn't see it because you guys wanted Eliseo Bishop. But you got him now. What about the ones outside that's still out there procreating? What about them? And he's not taking accountability for nothing.
The reasons why they did what they did, truly, regardless of what I thought I was, is on them. So I've learned to give people their power back in the sense of also giving them their responsibilities back.
I didn't hear any. I heard some accountability, but what?
So let's go ahead and stop this. So the guy interrupt him. You know, he's sitting there telling him, "Look, I don't hear any. I don't hear no accountability." So let's go ahead and pull up another one. Like I said, you know, we can't sit there and we cannot pick and choose who to put our foot on. Like I said, what did he say? If it wasn't Carbonation, he would have ended up somewhere else. But he also was doing the recruiting, okay? So let's go ahead and let me see if I can pull up some more, guys. See if it's going to let me pull up some more. So I'm trying to see if it's going to let me, like I say, guys, if, you know, it is what it is. So let me see if it's going to let me pull some more. If not, it should let me pull some more. I don't know why. Let's go ahead and listen to this right here. And all this right here is a copy. Let me go ahead and read the copyright disclaimer. Is under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use. Okay. So if you want to watch the entirety, guys, you can go to Sanetv. Okay. So let's go ahead and
What I heard is
so right here, the young brother is, you know, talking to Soular. He was saying that, you know, he pretty much didn't hear Soular take any accountability.
I didn't hear any. I heard some accountability, but What I heard is that you guys did recruit women for him, right? And
Wrong, wrong.
knowing that he
I
abused,
brought them in to be with me. They were supposed to be with me, and that
did
was
you know
the
he was
point.
abused?
So he taking the whole blame. Now the guy sat there and said y'all was recruiting for Nature Boy for Eligio Bishop. He stopped and he said no, they were for me. So if you was knowing it was for me, and yet you finding out once you bring in these women uh around Eligio Bishop, he ended up taking them. Why you keep bringing them? Like I say, it's like bringing a sheep to the slaughterhouse. So he should take accountability. And if I'm wrong, guys, you tell me I'm wrong. But I know the only ones that's going to sit there and tell me wrong is the ones that only wants to see one way. But in here, we are critical thinkers, okay?
Women that you
Yeah,
were bringing in.
they're always going to need me to be my wife so that we can build our portion of them, build our family. And Eligio's the one who goes back and forth between you can have wives, you can't have wives, you can have wives, you can't have wives. I've never brought women to be there with him, ever. And I'm the only dude who get in trouble regularly for fighting him on that. No, I want my girl. That's my girl. We even go sneak away. Zoka on a regular basis would leave in the middle of the night to come be with me. We're talking like, yo, how are we gonna fix this? How are we gonna get you and convince him to allow us to be in relationships again? And even Velvet, who's the mother of my son, she also came in and spurred him to open up the relationships again because he was abusing the power that he had and manipulating the men and the women through these relationships. And she seemed like it. And
So let me go ahead and stop it right there. Like I said, if they had all that information and he knew all that, why he kept bringing them? And that's the question that I'm asking you guys right now. So, like I said, when it comes to Soular, Soular also should be in jail. Soular should also be in jail. And make sure you guys go and watch the full video to its entirety. And if I'm wrong, you just sit there and you say I'm wrong. But, he should be held accountable. He's still out there procreating. He's still outside making the same women that supposed to be traumatizing, impregnating them, leaving generational curses. Because he's not with Velvet. He just got out of prison. He's still young. So this man can be having babies all over the places. And especially if he's not getting the help that he need. So all that right there is like generational curses. You could point the finger all day. But what part did you play in it? And why are you not taking accountability? Why are you let loose where you out there making people worse than what they already was? Because now, like I said there and say, we got Velvet. Velvet coming out as if she have her life all together. How you have your life all together when you got small babies? Small babies with different daddies. And now you with someone else where whoever was with that person telling you how that man used to treat her. But you think that you better. Like I said, every mop, every broom sweeps good until it's get older. And once it's get old, what it does, it's thrown in the closet with the rest of the old mops and the rest of the old brooms. And that's all I'm sitting there saying. But the thing about it, when it comes to this social media platform, this social media arena, whatever you guys want to call it, you guys have your pickers and your choosers. And if you guys don't like a person, you guys will come together, band together, and try to put your foot on that person's neck. But one thing about the truth gonna always go, it might go slowly, but it's gonna always come back home. It will surely come back home. And like I said there and say, What's for the goose is for the gander. If you played a part in it, you should take accountability. Nowhere in the world when it comes to Solar. And even if you watch the video into its entirety, you would even see where even the poor went ahead and asked him a question. Do you take accountability? No. You could see the expression on her face because she wasn't ready for him to say that. She thought he was going to say, yeah, I take some type of accountability. Because if it wasn't for my action, for me going out there and recruiting, bringing in these young women, they wouldn't have went through half of the stuff that is they went through. So you should play a part of it as well. And that's all I'm just saying. If you guys out there saying that, oh, y'all do a lot of research, then start researching for the truth. Don't just research because, oh, I don't like this person. Throw the book at this person and let's ignore what the rest of them doing. And if they're not getting the help that they need, all they're going to do is just continue wrecking themselves. Look at, like I said, they're saying, I'm standing on my truth. If Velvet got 3 babies right now and now with another man and she's still young, shoot, by the time she even hit close to her 40s, she might have at least 12. But who going to sit there and say enough is enough? Who going to sit there and say enough is enough? Keep giving these people a platform and not allowing these people to take accountability. And the minute when you question them, you shut them down. But when Efru and Zoka, I hope I didn't freeze, guys. When Efra and Zoka was on Sanetv channels, Sanetv said they and say no. You're not gonna told Napar, and I think that's his girlfriend, his wife. No. You're not gonna come on and you're not going to attack. You're not gonna come with that attitude. And he kicked her off. But then he went ahead and gave her own platform to go ahead and question. And we thought that, she was gonna let him talk it out. But no, she kept over talking. It could have been that right there, we could have, got to a great solution or got to some of the problems that was going on. But when people just constantly just talk, you ain't gonna get nothing out of it. Sometimes we got to shut our mouth. And that's how I see it. So, like I said, hey, it is what it is. I'm standing on my truth. And one thing about the truth does not need any defending. Because it was it is. Like I said, Soular should also take accountability, and every last one of them should take accountability that played a part. Because Soular was the one that helped do the recruiting. And we already know it's already videos out there when Velvet was recruiting when she was with Nature Boy. We can say, oh, Elijah Bishop did this, he did that. But if you have not got the help that you need, then you just as vicious. You just as worse because you don't have the tools that you think that you should need to live what we call a normal life. Since you say you got it all together. And that's what I'm saying. So guys, on that note, like I said, if you come in and you listen, make sure you hit like, comment, or however you feel led, because ain't no changing on here. I'm not going to sit here and come on my platform and tickle your ears or tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to stand on my truth. And I truly believe that when it comes to Soular, So Lord also he can't continue playing the blame game because we also seen him outside still wrecking, still causing havoc, still out there making women, single mothers. I just don't understand it. How you claim that you all are victims, didn't go out there and get the help that you need, and you go out there and you procreate with the same people. Someone help me with this right here. And you still calling them the victim, got them on the pan of protecting them. Make it make sense. Let's
Nah,
listen to a little more.
I never brought a woman there for ever. Because it was always the narrative, what the men agreed, and what the agreement that we had amongst the whole group or tribe was that the women get to choose who they be with. And whoever they want to be with, and they
Now, what did he say? That's the part that I don't understand.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the
Thank
part
you
I
for
don't understand. Hold
I
on.
understand.
That's the part I don't understand. And you can see Napor went ahead and shut that down. What did he say? The women get to choose who they wants to be with. Come on, guys, make it make sense. What did he say? The women get to choose who they wants to be with. But yet you guys went on stand and sitting there and saying these women was forced. And you end up impregnating them. Make it make sense. I can't make this up even if I want to. I promise you. Hey, Stylist. Stylist say, hey, lady, I watched the replay. I got your live late. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for coming in. But like I said, you guys let me know. I'm going to call it like I said. And I went out there and I did my research. Like I say, everything is at a push of a button. Everything is at a push of a button. Soular should also take accountability.
You were indoctrinated, brother. Believe me, I completely understand that. But me as a man, I have to say that there were, even though you were indoctrinated, there's an accountability for the abuse of these women. I don't know if you knew he was abusing them when you were bringing women in, even as your wife, girlfriend, or whatnot. But if you did, brother, there was some complicity, and I applaud you for your testimony. I applaud you standing here against what he was, against his wickedness and his evilness. But I think that you owe those women who were abused, that you brought in or you seen brought in, and knowing that they were being abused, because they are owed that. You understand what I'm saying? Because you may think that they came in through their own volition, throughout their expenses, but some of that influence was by some of the men that brought them into this. Right? That's part of the manipulation that men do. He used that.
Let me let you take a minute, Solar.
And you see right there, Napor should have never even interrupt that. This man was talking to man, telling this man that you should take accountability. You should apologize for bringing these women in what I call the slaughterhouse. Why? He don't take accountability. But yet he's standing on there as if he's the victim. But yet he's on stand talking about how those young women was being abused. But the blood is on your hands if that's true. Because like I said, when it comes to Zoka and Ephru, according to what he said, they were in college. They were in college and you pulled them out thinking that they were going to be your wife, knowing how it works. You knew how it worked. You knew good and well that it was not going to be yours. You knew that. But that's what you playing to these silly sheep. You playing to these fools that going to believe that mess. But you see, I think when it came to Napor shouldn't have never interrupt those two brothers when they was getting to the bottom of it.
I need everybody to meet up for 1 second. Okay.
So right there, let me see if I can pull that one up. She's going to sit there and ask him a question. Do you take accountability? And watch what you see he's going to say. Okay. So let me see if I can pull that one up. And guys, if you want to watch it clear, I went ahead and fussed it up. You can go onto Sonetta, okay? Sonetta TV. I don't know which one. I don't know. This is the one I played. So let me see.
You are one of a regular on our panel, and I love you being here. And I hear what you're saying, and the brother addressed it. I want to say my part. Again, Seven might be watching a little bit more than I about other things, but this is here and now. And from what I know, this is also a survivor of Eligio. When people say you're not fair to the brothers, I'm going to say men get mind control and indoctrinated just like women.
And she's absolutely right. Men gets indoctrinated. They get controlled, brainwashed, or whatever you want to call it. But you got the man. Now, what part is you going to hold Soular accountable for? That's what everybody is asking. Okay, so let's listen to it.
I'm not caping or making excuses for anybody. I can't expect for him to protect
Yes, you are.
people when he also was in the cult just like everybody else. Just because he's a man doesn't mean that he didn't experience.
And see, that's the part when it comes in the part. That's just to show you she was not listening. What did this guy say earlier? He said if it was not going to be carbonation, he was going to end up somewhere else. So he already had made up his mind what his future was going to be. His future was going to be in a cult setting. He already said that the only reason why he didn't want to be a monk, he didn't want to cut his hair, but he was going to find another group just like now. Like I said there and say, most of all this stuff that you seen happen, and that's just my opinion, and all this right here is allegedly, because they wanted to set where Nature Boy was saying, because we already know when it comes to envious and when it comes to jealousy, when it comes to Nateria wanted to be a queen. And when she couldn't get what she wanted, she became scorned and she tore the whole house down. Okay. And it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not here for people to like me or not. It is what it is. And that's real talk. Okay.
Indoctrination and abuse and manipulation and all those other things. How could he have helped these women? He couldn't even help them. He's still recovering. They're still recovering from the trauma. Do you want to come in and say something, Janae? I'm reading. Oh, it's your fault that they're.
And let's go ahead and stop it right here. Like I said, if you want to watch it to the entirety, go on Sanetv TV. And she said there and say they still recovering, but where they at on your platform? Instead of being around professionals, where they at on social media, on YouTube. Make it make sense. It's no more excuses, guys. Like I say, in these latter days right here, is no more excuses. It's no more excuses.
There, we need to be really about it.
Yeah, he a big
Yeah,
boy.
we're not gonna gaslight you.
No,
I'm not saying that either. Just
I know
to know,
you're not.
I'm not saying that.
I'll agree in the chat a little bit. It's not you, but you know, because people are saying accountability. Yes, he probably. I don't know. Let me ask you: do you feel guilty that you brought them there? That's a better question.
So, guys, I don't know if you can see it right here because I went ahead and fussed out these clips, but I want you to go and watch this part right here where it's not fussed out, and I want you to see Napar's face. Now, what Napar about to do right now, she's about to ask Soular a question about taking accountability. And when he said that he's not taking accountability, you're going to see the expression, the facial expression on Napar's face, okay?
I said no because that would.
Oh, you don't feel guilty?
No, because the only regret that I would have would be bringing myself there. Everything that I've done and everything that I'm. moved out of was a pure intention always. I never had an intention to bring a person into something
Right.
else messed up.
So did
And
you
I never
hear?
told to be
She
healed or
watched the face.
previously.
Let's play it again. You probably can't hear that well, guys. So just go on that
Accountability.
channel.
Yes, he probably. I don't know. Let me ask you. Do you feel guilty that you brought them there? That's a
No,
better question.
like I said, no, because that would. If I
Oh,
was
you
there,
don't feel guilty?
no, because the only regret that I would have.
So did you see the expression on her face? She said, "You don't feel guilty," because another person would have said that and say, "Yes, I feel guilty. I feel accountability. All the stuff that we claim and we said on stand that these women went through. If you say that the women went through all that, right? I hope you guys can hear me, guys. Yeah. If he said that the women, according to what they said on stand, went through all what they went through the hands of Nature Boy, wouldn't you sit there and say that I take some of the responsibility, I take accountability? But what did he say? He said, no. Let's play it one more time, guys.
Said no, because that would. If I
Oh,
was
you
there,
don't feel guilty?
no, because the only regret that I would have would be bringing myself there. Everything
Okay.
that I've done and everything that I moved out of was a pure intention always. I never had an intention to bring a person into something
Right.
else messed up. And I never told the media or the previously did with what
So how can he say everything that he did was pure intent? It was out of pure intentions. How can he say that? But yet on the stand say something else. Why did you keep recruiting him if you know exactly what was going through? That's why I sit there and say, guys, you may not like it or not, but I'm going to stand on my truth. Soular should take accountability. I think that Soular should be behind bars because he played a major part in all this right here. And the thing about it, you cannot sit there and keep howling that Soular is a victim, because Soular already sat there and said, if it wasn't for Carbonation, he would have been somewhere else in another, wherever, in another group setting. And because they don't have the right people to ask the right questions, this is what you're going to get right here.
what had around him to go through this. And no, I don't own their journeys, for them. However, I do know why I did what I did when I was that person, when I was him. The only thing that I thought about when I had these regrets, and I did feel responsible, when I was taking too much accountability, what I was thinking was that, man, I wish I would have fought for them more. Man,
Okay.
I wish I would have took my girl and left earlier. Man,
Good.
I wish that, I called him out.
And the thing about it is that he's sitting there saying he wish he would have took his girls out. He wish he would have left. And the thing about it is that you did not leave away from Elijah Bishop out of Carbonation until he got arrested. If Elijah Bishop wouldn't have never got arrested, the question is, would you guys would have stayed there? So it's not like you just volunteer, woke up and say, I'm about to leave Carbonation. No, you waited until helicopters, you waited until the detectives heat and questions and all types of stuff came out. And then you ran. And then you got out. But the question is, would he would have stayed? And most likely they probably would, because half of them, like I say, these are grown men that don't want to even work. Still out there sitting there living the same way, but just not with Nature Boy. Still going out there procreating, just without Nature Boy. Still most likely trying to form the next cult or whatever they want to call it, just without Nature Boy. Like I said, to me, all this right here sounds personal. All this right here sounds personal. And that's why You guys cannot see from as far as the trees. You cannot see it because all you guys wanted one person, but yet you seen when it comes to Solar still out there making babies, making more single mothers instead of breaking generational curses. Like I said there and say, guys, if I'm wrong, just sit there and say, oh, call me out. I stand for corrections. But I promise you, ask yourself if the tables was turned and you know a victim out there recruiting your daughter, your sons, would you want him to be held accountable? That's all I'm asking. Like I say in here, we are critical thinkers.
On the lies that he knows he was doing to plan support what he may want to do with the time. So I don't feel regret, and I don't feel like I should take accountability for the abuse he inflicted on them and myself. I can only wish I knew more when I was younger, and that's going to do nobody any good.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Cheek and tongue will say anything just to keep themselves out of it. Because if you are really sincere of what you sitting there spewing out on this platform, you will show us that you are getting the help that you need. But what you are doing, still out there just getting out of jail, still out there trauma binding, instead of trying to get your life together. And I promise you guys, ain't nothing good gonna come out of this. Nothing good is gonna come out of this. Because the same ditch that you're digging, you're gonna end up digging for yourself. Like I said, this has nothing to do with Eligio Bishop. This is about standing on truth. Standing on truth. And if you got someone out there procreating, bringing in innocent children and leaving the mothers, and got the mothers thinking that, oh, just because they got babies for whatever they wants to call themselves, then I could come out and beat my chest like Velvet out here beating her chest. And we got people sitting there lifting that up. Oh, Velvet, oh, this, oh, Velvet, that. Praising stuff like that. Praising stuff like that. Instead of breaking generational curses, it shows you where your mindset at. Let me play a little more
Can
of
I
that, and
ask
that's
you a
it.
question about because you have the one baby with,
Thank
is it
you.
Zoka?
Yeah, that was my first child I ever had, and ended up being stillborn after 9 months.
So definitely need to play this one right here because now they're going to talk about the other kids that he have. Okay, this is the last one. So let me see if I can pull that one up. And like I said, I got it fuzzy and you barely can hear it. But if you want to watch it in its entirety, you can go on Sanetv. Okay, I just wanted to play the part with Soular. So let me go ahead and pull this one up. I think this is the last one. So let me see where I'm at. And I had it all pulled up, all where it's supposed to be, but for some reason, I had it if I had freezed up. It had me in the matrix. But like I said, guys, Hold on one second. I'm going to get to it. See if I can pull it up like this. Okay, yeah, this the last one right here.
Okay, so do you have at this moment any live children with anyone?
Yes, I do. I have a beautiful baby named Zoe Rose. This woman right here today.
Okay, and so you guys have,
I have
so you
another
guys
dog.
have good communication out. So now that you're gone outside of, the situation, you guys communicate. You guys co-parent or anything like that? How is that going?
Yeah, we co-parent very, very well at this point. We have some things worked out. I don't know how much you want to share today. I'll leave that to you, and I'll let you speak on it. But I love this woman.
And look how she raising her hand. Like I say, this guy just came out of prison. Just came out of prison. Trying to bring narcotics across, okay? And what the lady asked on the panel, like I said, th- th- when it comes to these people being on social media, social these platforms, they should be sitting on somebody else's couch. Now he talking as if he got it all planned out instead of asking. And the thing about it, they wasn't even asking the right questions because when the brother had came on, called himself Seven, when he was asking the right question, they went ahead and shut him down. Do you have a job? Do you have a stable job? Do you have the women that you procreating? Do they have their own houses? Why nobody asked that? Let me go ahead and play some more, and after that, I'm gonna close it down, guys.
Very much, and I'm just so grateful
You can tell that.
that
You
I
can
chose
tell that
her.
you guys love you. The look in her eyes when you came on was.
I do have a son as well. I want to pay respect to my son as well, with Velvet, and he's a beautiful kid too. He's already real strong, real smart. I can see it, and I'm just.
And he's talking as if he was there. Like I said, have he ever been around? And if he did, is he around now? According to how Velvet came out, like he ain't nothing but a deadbeat himself. You see, guys, if I don't know, if you just don't see from what this is, then something got to be wrong with you. That's all I can
Proud of
say.
them both for waking up and leaving before me, and so I'm just honored that.
I am too. I'm happy.
That's all I can say about this right here, guys. This got to be something personal because nowhere in the world that you all can allow Soular to sit there and get away with what he's getting away with and not hold him accountable. This got to be something personal. But the sad thing about it is that you got Nature Boy exactly where you wanted him, Eliseo Bishop, exactly where you wanted him to be. But yet you got a Soular, you got a miniature Soular that's mimicking and wants to put somebody else's shoes on. That's why he went out there and picked the same women, trying to prove a point. Like I said, if you're going to call it right. And that's real talk. So, guys, on that note, you all be blessed and enjoy the rest of your day. Make sure you go ahead and hit like, comment, and share these videos for more unapologetic content.
Do it all.